Okay, I want to make this clear. I'm aware that everyone and their grandma has made a video on Attack on Titan. I know. Why? Because it's a decent show. But not a lot of people has physically talked about the manga and the show at the same time. This is almost like Inception if it was like Paprika, but good. Paprika's good. Okay, so... Okay, should I explain the show? Because I think everyone watching this video knows this show, this manga, this everything. Because if you don't know from just watching it, you know it because some guy talked about it already. You already know what happened on episode 5, obviously. Because you're human and you like anime, so you're watching things. What I'm trying to say is, I probably won't be explaining things too much, so I'm sorry. But I want to make little things clear about the differences. A lot of people say, oh, I hate how the manga looks. The manga looks okay. It doesn't look like a normal shonen-esque drawings. They're different. But so is the animation of the show. If you haven't seen the show, you notice the show looks kind of weird. Which brings me to another thing. A lot of people saying that they hate animation in the manga, but the show is amazing. And I'm like, okay, I can kind of accept that. But it's the same kind of issue that's happened with Anohana. This is a point I've made. I made in a video that I've recorded like 10 times now because this video keeps not turning up correctly. Anohana is a show that looks really weird. It's that really weird show that just is airing right now. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, Anohana, probably not the actual title. It looks really weird, and the manga looks good, but the show looks really weird. And people are going against if it looks good or doesn't look good. There's not that many people with the same issue with the show to the manga. Yes, the show looks good, but it also looks weird. It looks really weird, considering what the manga looks like. Because the manga looks kind of the same, but it looks really weird, but whatever. There are differences in the show and the manga. Hugely so. Before I actually really get into that, the show, right when you're watching this, possibly whenever I'm recording this, 8 episodes have been released and I've watched, and that is actually the first 2 volumes. 8 episodes, 2 volumes, that's about, 4 episodes each. The 5th volume in English will be released on the 5th of June, I believe. June at some point. That's 5 volumes, 5 times 4, 20, but there's sometimes some off ones, so let's say 5 volumes equals the show. Okay. In Japan, there's like 9, I believe, which brings to an issue. The show has already been announced as a 24, 26 episode show, but will they end it? And if they do, are they going to make up an ending? Or are they going to do a Berserk ending where it's going to be like, there's so much more content, but they literally end it when the big stuff happens. Kind of like High School with Day and all that stuff, but no one knows at this moment. Just that's the thing to keep in mind for someone who's actually read this manga. Another thing is differences. Okay, let's get to the differences. Yes, some scenes are censored, but there's some scenes that are kind of better. For example, the scene with his mother being eaten. In the manga, it shows the physical bites. In the show, it doesn't show the bite, but it shows that blood effect with it raining. That's not in the manga. That was made up for the show. And it works so much better than the manga, in my opinion. Another difference is the filler. There's a buttload of filler in the show, but I like it. It's good filler. I don't say that much about filler. And the reason why I like it is, for example, the whole training thing of him not knowing how to use the gear he thought, and certain character development about the girl running and the girl talking to the other girl while she steals her food. And scenes like that in the show are not in the manga at all. It's just assumed, okay, he wants to defeat the Titans, he grows up, becomes one of the 10, and then a few other things happen, we get a little bit of character development, and then boom, we're going. The show just adds character development that's made up. Characters that it's in the manga, for example, we meet the top 10 of the class, and then little bit of stuff happens, and then boom, the attack on Titan happens, and the show gives us some character development, like characters like Thomas, I believe his name was, one of the first, a little bit of a spoiler warning, who got eaten, I believe, I could be wrong. We got more character development in the show than the manga did. We're like, okay, he's a kid that is in the top 10, and oh, he's dead. That's a shame. The show did that very well. So if you like the show a lot, you watch the show first, and then you go to the manga, you're gonna hate the manga. It's instantly you're gonna hate it. But if you read the manga first, and then went to the show, you're gonna want to read the manga because you'd be able to read the manga ahead of the show, and then watch the show, which is what I'm doing, and it works very well because you get to see differences. And it's nice when they include filler sometimes for people who already know what's supposed to happen, and then when it's different, it's like, wow, that's different, that's cool. That's just my opinion. What was I talking about? I was talking about Attack on Titan. So the story, we all know. Eren, Niska, I can't think of their names right now. And Armin or Anima. It's been a while since I've read it. Armin, I think whatever. The trio of friends get attacked when they're younger, grow up, and then the attack happens again, and then we zoom all the way up until Eren turns into a Titan. Which, at the moment, the first 2 volumes don't explain that. It ends exactly when you saw in the show. But right behind me, those 2 volumes right there are the next 2 in the series, so I can read ahead and learn what happens, which I'll probably be doing. This is where I want to get to our next topic. This is how they can fuck up Attack on Titan. People have been putting this on their top 5 lists of all time. I'm not sure if I said this whole thing I'm about to say, because I've said it before in the video, so I'm going to say it again here, if I haven't already talked about it. Attack on Titan, some people's lists have been the #1 show of all time, and it's only on episode 8. And it's like, hey, that means you are a really bad anime watcher. People who put shows that aren't finished on the top 10 of all time, kind of bug me. Shows like One Piece, for example, that's allowed, I think, but it's not done yet. The show isn't done, so why are you putting it on your top 10? Because, for example, here's a One Piece example. You could put it on your top #1 of all time, and then the next episode they kill the main character. Sanji becomes the main character. You're not gonna be happy. Same thing is like with Naruto. If Naruto died, Sakura becomes the main character or some shit. A lot of people would be pissed off if that happened. Same kind of thing can happen to the show. The thing is that I think is going to ruin the show is because Eren turned into a Titan somehow. Truthfully, we don't know how at this moment. But if this is a prediction, here's a prediction. Episode 8 up prediction. If they make it so, I haven't read the manga yet, he can do that whenever he wants to, or whenever he gets stressed, or whenever something happens. If they figure out how he did it, and they use it as an advantage against the Titans, it might ruin it. Because the reason why I think the shows did as well as it did, sure, they're overpowered. Like they're powered, but they're not overpowered. And there's like these horrible things that are super overpowered. If the main character can become a goddamn Titan, that's just like, you know, Goku Super Saiyan, or Naruto, was it Toad mode? I don't watch much Naruto, but you know what I mean. It'll make it, I think it'll ruin it. The show, I think, can become this great thing. I think it can become one of the greatest things maybe ever, if it's done correctly. Any show can. Let me just phrase that. Any show. There could be the new, what's a show? Random show. They could make a season 2 of Lucky Star and make it the best anime ever. Will they? No. But you know what I mean. The show can be ruined, and the show could be great, the show could be ruined. Don't put it on your top 10 yet. Please wait, because they could ruin it. Bit of a rant there, I apologize. But there's so much to talk about so far, but so little I really should talk about because it's just repeating what other people have said. But I'll just give a little bit of a shout out to the manga. It's released in English. Go get it if you're a fan of the show, because I don't think it's going to last too long. I think what might happen will be the whole thing with stuff like Gurren Lagann manga and the Berserk manga, where it's going to raise in price, and they probably won't, like, they'll print a lot of it, but it's going to raise in price, so I recommend go and get it now. It's another Kodashina, whatever the hell they're called, Kodansha comics. I talked about them in my Fairy Tail review, which I don't know if ever was posted. If it's posted, awesome. I don't think it's been posted, but they're decent to say the least. Another thing that's interesting about this release is usually this company likes putting san and kun and all that lovely things in their translation. This they didn't. So whoever did the translation on this, I quite like. I don't mind when they do that, but when they do that, sometimes it's just like, it's English translation, please put it in English for me. But I recommend going to go get these. They're really nice. If you want to catch up on the story and actually go above the story, even better reason to get them. There's cover 2, just so you can see it, and cover 1. You can see what I was talking about the whole character looking different just by seeing that. But that's basically all I really can talk about. One last thing I guess I'll mention is Attack on Titan has been licensed for a live-action film already. I don't know if it's an American or English film, but it has been licensed, and it will be happening possibly, but we've also been waiting for a Cowboy Bebop live-action movie with Keanu Reeves and a Akira movie with the kid who did the Dragon Ball Evolution movie. Originally it was supposed to be the Leonardo DiCaprio, and there's also supposed to be so many live-action films that never were made, which probably is thankful because of certain movies. But yeah, Attack on Titan, we'll see what happens.